It's 2:15. I'm Claire Glanville. The chairman of the Football Association has asked FIFA to postpone tomorrow's presidential election. This comes a day after the current president, Sepp Blatter, dismissed claims of a crisis within FIFA.
Crisis? What is a crisis? Football is not in a crisis. We are only in some difficulties, and these difficulties will be solved inside our family.
The number of children who have been protected from online paedophiles has risen for a fifth year in a row. According to the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre, 414 children have been safeguarded over the last 12 months, shutting down 132 high-risk online paedophile networks. Peter Davis, the CEOP's chief executive, warns that the battle is far from over, with technology advances making it harder to protect youngsters.
We have to keep ahead of the technology, keep ahead of the way people use it, keep ahead of the new vulnerability and potential for victimisation that creates, and of course we have to keep ahead of the offenders as they learn some of our techniques. But what we've shown through those two very large operations is the fact that there's nowhere to hide ultimately, and people will be caught and brought to justice.
A study conducted by a charity has revealed that the average price of food will more than double in 20 years unless action is taken. Research from Oxfam predicts that up to half of the increase will be caused by climate change. They want nations to agree new rules to govern food markets to ensure the poor do not go hungry. Detectives have begun a murder inquiry into the death of a British man in Thailand. An initial post-mortem examination concluded 57-year-old Kevin Attu from Hampshire had committed suicide by drowning on the holiday island. The body was taken to the mainland for a second post-mortem, where he was found to have suffered from serious head injuries. Houses prices in the UK are predicted to rise by 16% over the next year. A separate study by Halifax shows nearly half of 20 to 45-year-olds think Britain will become a nation of renters, with people unable to afford to buy a house. Nicola Hughes from the charity Shelter explains why young people are unable to cope with the housing expenses.
The cost of housing has increased so much, and unfortunately young people's salaries just haven't kept up. So the price of owning a house has more than doubled in the last 10 years. The price of renting a house has gone up by 73%, but young people's salaries have only risen by 34% in the same period. So it's just getting more and more expensive for them.
In sports news, at the French Open, Andy Murray has beaten Victor Troicki by 3-2 after fighting back in the final set. And after months of speculation, the X Factor's judging panel has been confirmed. Take That's Gary Barlow, American singer Kelly Rowland, and N-Dub's Talisa will join the show alongside the one returning mentor Louis Walsh, leaving no space for Cheryl Cole, who was also axed from the American X Factor last week. And that's the latest. More headlines in half an hour.
Thank you, Claire. You're listening to the InTouch magazine show. On today's show, get up to date with everything that's happening in Coventry University. We'll hear about students doing